Don't try to understand her, just love her. Just like me, I'm sure these words have been beaten like drums into your ears by the dating pros. After all, men have to understand things so that they can be accountable for them. However, when it comes to printing your name forever in her memory, you need more than understanding her. You need my special tricks, which I'm about to share with you. Make what you have with her special. I am sure you've heard plenty of ladies who've always found a way of getting back to their exes even after a messy breakup. I'm a perfect example of that kind of situation, having exes come back for some good smashing even when they're in a new relationship. In all honesty, the deal is that these ladies just can't seem to get the memories of what we shared out of their heads. And the reason they seem unable to do so is that I try as much as possible to make whatever I have with those ladies special. And you gotta do the same. I know she must be feeling she likes you, and besides, if she doesn't, she wouldn't be in a relationship with you, so there's no need to do too much in the relationship. Trust me, if you have these thoughts, then you need a strong reorientation, buddy. Irrespective of the love she has for you, there's so much more that you have to do to leave a mark in her heart, and the best way to do it is by making every moment that you have special. From the dates and the movie nights down to the intimate moments in the bedroom, always ensure that you make every moment count. Don't be the dude who sees no reason to put effort into making his relationship fun. Be different. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you gotta be a sissy, just to spice things up so that she never forgets you. All I'm saying is that you should make her so comfortable around you and show her love so strong that she wouldn't want to leave you for another dude while chipping in your toxic traits once in a while. Trust me, if you get that right, she's gonna come running to you, even if she's married to the US president. Show her support. Making the moments that you both share special is just part of the cake that makes never forgetting you possible. To achieve your aim completely, you have to do more than make your relationship special, of course. You have to support her. Yes, you heard me right. To make her never forget you, you need to be her rock. Women generally aren't the best at making firm decisions, and the last time that I checked, they all want a man who can stand by them through thick and thin if they hope to achieve great heights. While being supportive is supposed to go both ways, receiving support from your partner without giving anyone in return, well, that inadvertently makes you a pussy. Probably the girl in that relationship, if you ask me. I'm sure no lady's gonna remember a good-for-nothing partner for long, so if you want to leave a mark, you support her. When she's faced with difficult situations, provide solutions as much as you can. Of course, listen instead of just immediately jumping to solutions, but solutions, whether they like it or not, are good. And when she's scared of taking a bold step towards advancing her career, make her see that she has you as a partner and assure her that you will be there for her every step of the way. When she makes a mistake that seems to have strong repercussions, you prove to her that you've got her back. Believe me, there is nothing a woman likes more than when her man has her back, and being supportive will go a long way in proving. Reminds me of an experience I had with one of my exes. So I met Isabella at a grocery store, and my heart was just melted immediately. Now, I'm not a guy to pass up an opportunity of getting to know somebody, so I instantly made a move to get her number. Well, surprise, surprise, I was successful, and within a week, I and Isabel had moved from chat buddies to lovers. And during her relationship, I made sure that I stood in for Isabella as much as I could. Sex was fantastic, and I recorded her having the leg-shaking orgasm from time to time. However, while the sex part remains some of the reason she still runs back to my times without a number, she confessed the support that I gave her during those times made her actually love me. You know, like, commit. And when I met Isabel, she worked at the front desk of an organization, and she actually did a great job. She moved her way up the career ladder and got a master's degree. While she wished she progressed from the front desk role, she wasn't motivated enough to get that degree that could make a difference. And then meeting me, she narrated all that. She just told me, of which I promised that I would support her every step of the way if she made that bold move to go for it. And did I keep my promise? Of course. I kept my promise, and while we did break off a couple years ago for, well, reasons too complicated to get into in this video, I still have her at my beck and call as that girl that just can't seem to get me out of her head. Buddy, always be supportive. Help her push her boundaries and overcome her insecurities. If she finds piercing and tattoos super cool but can't dare to get one, drive her into that store yourself. Say, hey, let's go for a tattoo. You should do it. Come on. You've always wanted one. Something like that. Remember, a woman who has a supportive partner is generally gonna be happy. And the moment that she realizes that you're the reason for her happiness in that moment, she's never gonna forget you. Not in a lifetime. Provide a personal touch. Women love gifts. From surprises to gifts on special occasions, they would do anything to be with the man who showers them with gifts. However, the truth remains that these women get gifts pretty regularly. From male friends wanting to smash the minute they get the chance. And if you want to be different, then do different. Provide a personal touch to the gifts that you give her. That way she will not forget you. Now, before you get it all mixed up, what I mean is, when you give her something special, always have a nice story to wrap it up. Always have a nice reason. Picture the scenario, right? You're on your way from work. You decide to get her a flower bouquet. Instead of buying the flowers and presenting it to her, or saying that you bought her the flowers because the stall was about to close up and the flowers are being sold extra cheap, you could come up with something like, I saw this rose while I was coming home and I decided to murder it to bring it home to my damsel. Hope you like it. You could even go a little bit naughty, right, by getting her chocolates and telling her this. I thought about our crazy night last night, and I thought if I got you chocolates, you'd have a little bit of extra strength for tonight. Believe me, just as the gifts are important, so is the story behind the gifts. And while these examples may not have been the best, you get what I'm going for. Most men fail to realize the importance of this, and they hardly utilize it in their relationships, and they suffer for it. Remember, the whole idea is to show her that she plays a significant role in your life, and being good with your words while giving her gifts, it's a great way to go. Be a good listener. Everyone talks about being caring and all that. When it comes to getting women to never forget you, one thing that they generally fail to mention is being a good listener. Buddy, there are no mincing words here. If you want to create an impression that will last a lifetime, then you have to sharpen your listening skills. By nature, women naturally enjoy talking. The reason you see them narrating the issues they had with a colleague in the office or talking about how a friend pissed them off, well, all you gotta do in that case is listen. And when I say listen, I mean listen attentively. For the record, listening helps build connections between people, and when you talk to her and when you listen to her speak, you're showing her that you genuinely care about her feelings and, well, the emotions that you value, and you understand her, and, well, you give a fuck. Simply and eloquently and daintily put. These traits are hard to come by in men, and the moment that you prove that you have them, she's gonna have a hard time getting over you if your relationship were to go south. Oh, by the way, letting her talk is gonna make her reveal so many things about herself, things that will make you understand her better. Ever heard of ladies being like, I just can't seem to get him off my mind, as no one knows me better. Or, I can't let him go, no one understands me like he does. I'm sure you have, and the reason that they make those kind of statements is because their previous partners were great listeners, and not just because of the sex that they had. She's probably been thinking that, but anyways. To be a good listener, you have to focus on every word that comes out of her mouth. When next she raises a topic or brings an issue to you, try your best to avoid distractions from your phone or TV and maintain solid eye contact. Also, remember, active listening isn't complete if you can't ask good questions in return. So dude, in between conversations, ask her open-ended questions that would make her want to share it all. Doing this perfectly is going to make her never forget you. Share a fun experience. When talking about making women never forget you, creating memorable moments is a great way to go. Creating unique moments and building perfect bonds are great ways of creating memories that she would cherish forever. So dude, if you never wanted to forget you, then do the right thing. Have fun. Let her remember you for the joy, excitement, and happiness that you bring. Confused as to how you could go about creating lasting memories? Planning enjoyable filled activities is an obvious way to start, my man. From taking hikes together, visiting nice restaurants, or even attending concerts of your favorite artists, you can have fun by doing pretty much anything that is fun. I know, super simple. Also, you can get creative with having fun. One thing I did was smash a friend in the restroom of a restaurant, and then years later, she hadn't actually moved past it, and she would still make remarks about it. The point is, don't be that dude who ladies get bored with when they're with them for too long. Always show your fun side anytime she comes around. plan vacations, engage in activities that encourage deep and meaningful conversations, cook together, and create shared experiences that allow you to learn and grow together. By doing these, you're sending a signal that you value the time that you spend with her and that you're committed to keeping the relationship fresh. It's only going to make her think of the good time that you spent together when you still were partners, and you would make her do everything within your power to get back with you. Make your personal growth your priority. Aside from pinning her to the wall and fucking her brains out, making your personal growth a priority is yet another potent trick of getting women to never forget you. Most men fail to realize this reason that they remain the same year in, year out. Well, if you fall under such a category of dudes, then you have to answer why your ex has easily moved on after the breakup, and it's a pretty easy one. Buddy, nothing is more attractive than a guy who's always ready to be a better version of himself. It's like wearing an expensive Louis Vuitton suit to a fashion show. You just naturally draw attention. When you put effort into growing, be it a new language or skill or choosing a new career path, you're adding new attributes to yourself. Attributes that she would want to be a part of. You would want to be a part of. If while you're in a relationship, all you do is keep her busy on WhatsApp or texting her while ignoring certain aspects of your life that need improvement, she's never going to think about the moment that your relationship ends, as there are countless dudes who could fill up that space with way more interesting things than you ever did. Be different. Be the guy who gets better all the time, who puts just a little bit of pressure on her to be more interesting. Pursue your passions and hobbies, as they're the things that make you unique. And remember, the more interesting your life is, the more likely she's going to want to be a part of it. Psychologically, we tend to never forget people who have a lot more in common with us, and the more that you continue to work on yourself and get better, the more likely you are to have things in common with others. The more complicated of a human you are, the more levels you're able to relate with more people on, if that makes sense. However, try not to go overboard with this trick. While making yourself a better person, also try to push her to be better, as that's the only way that she's never going to actually forget you. Women don't like selfish dudes. They don't like cocky dudes. And prioritizing your growth over her happiness is only going to show you as one. Give genius compliments. You ever heard of the power of compliments? I bet you haven't. Buddy, compliments are a relationship to what icing is to a cake. They both add flavor, they add decor, they add the substance. If you want a woman to never forget you, then you can't only pass compliments like ordinary little old things. You gotta come up with bangers. You might be wondering what I mean by bangers. Well, it's passing compliments that rhyme with the situation at hand, right? That are adaptive, evolving, free-flowing. Most guys see a girl for the first time and they say, "Hey girl, you look beautiful," or something boring and blasé. Passing the same compliment to the same girl is only going to make her categorize you amongst all the other dudes who have passed such compliments, leaving her no room to remember you. You want her to see you differently. Well then, like I said earlier, you gotta be different. Instead of going with general compliments, go for those that she's not heard of before. And they're specific to each woman, so it's a little difficult for me to give good examples. But let me try. For better understanding, picture this. You schedule a date at a nice restaurant and she appears in a sexy gown revealing a bit of cleavage and a nice pair of legs. Instead of using the general, "You look beautiful," or saying things like, "Damn," you could say, "Your legs could make a man go crazy." Or, "Are you a relative of the current Miss World? That's the only way that could explain all of that beauty." Something like that, maybe. Now, all the guys she's met probably talk about her beauty, but none went to that Miss World level to qualify it. None of her told her that she was the top of the beauty pageant. Remember, the goal is to be different, and passing compliments only geniuses could come up with is the key to being different. I'm not saying that's one of them. I'm just saying you gotta make them good. But I must warn you, you shouldn't sound like a woman worshiper, all in the bid to pass compliments, and it's not gonna make her think of you forever. You should only give her genuine compliments and when it seems necessary. Brown nosing is only going to leave you alone with a dirty nose. Getting this right is all you need to make memories of you linger in her head forever. Be kind. You ever heard a woman saying words like, "No one treats me better than him," or "He treats me like a princess, the reason I can't leave him," etc., etc.? Well, if you haven't, then you probably need to step up your game and start being around ladies a little more often. Buddy, no matter how good looking or perfect you are, the moment that you're not kind, women are going to try to forget you. So I guess it's time for you to have a little bit of a reality check. Start being kind. Although, I say that, but most people think of themselves as kind. Most people don't go through lives thinking that they're an asshole, so this probably isn't going to make you self-reflect, but I can still try. Kindness is a fantastic way of proving you not only care about yourself, but you actually value others. The first thing a woman considers when she meets a man is how kind he is. And her answer to this question determines if she's going to keep his name ingrained in her memory or not. It's time to ask yourself an important question. Are you kind? How often do you offer to help family or friends in need? What charitable work have you done in the past? How do you relate to your children? Your answers to these questions will help decide if you're to work on your kindness or not. However, you should note that being taken advantage of by friends is not the right way to show kindness. Learning when to say no is necessary and it's important, and I'm sure you don't want to come across as stupid. When she asks for help, never pass on the opportunity to provide it if it's reasonable and you can. In so doing, you're proving to her that you possess the quality of kindness that no girl can ever forget. Encourage her self-growth. I kind of touched on this earlier, but let's get more in-depth on it. Encouraging her self-growth is yet another way to make ladies never forget about you. Women want men who are a source of inspiration and a motivation to them. They want someone who would support their personal development and turn them into the best versions of themselves. Be that person. Help her set goals and stand by her to achieve them. Offer constructive feedback and never pass on the opportunity to feed her ideas when necessary. Also, be her biggest cheerleader and celebrate her successes with her. It actually reminds me of a movie that I watched a couple days ago. So, Becky, I don't remember her name, but we're going to call her Becky, was a boxer who fell in love with a trainer, Maxwell. While Becky had a rough time facing opponents, Maxwell never gave up on her. He urged her to get better and provided support when it mattered, and by the end of it all, Becky was able to win the World Heavyweight Championship belt, all thanks to Max and their relationship. But that didn't even go as planned due to circumstances beyond their control, and she still went back to him for some frequent smashing as she just couldn't get him out of her head. You want to be remembered by her forever? Well, then you gotta tune down on the sex stuff and focus on encouraging her self-growth, the personal things, the soul-enriching things. That stuff will get you to stick out. And trust me, she's gonna come crawling back at any moment she gets once you get all this right. These are all the tips that you need to make a woman never forget about you. You act on them and watch your exes calling back to you in no time. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I cannot say, but you have fun with all that, bud. Later.